Okay. Okay. Hi, I'm Sharon Ings, and Stampin' Up! Demo from Ontario, Canada, and this is my weekly Sunday Snapshot. So we're going to work on a little bit of punch art today, and we'll maybe just give it a few seconds to make sure that everybody is here. It looks like we have 5 here already, and that's awesome. Say hi if you're here so I can see, and we'll get started very shortly. Hi, Janet. Okay. Hi, Pam. Congratulations. What a beautiful granddaughter. Hi, Della. Good to see you. Okay, we're going to get started in just 1 minute. I have to tell you, when I decided to try doing this. Hi, Linda. Welcome to Sunday Snapshots. Hope you enjoyed today. Hi, Mary Lou. Wow, we got quite a few people here today. Okay, so I have to tell you that when I started and decided to do punch art, I spent the entire day yesterday because every time I went to do something, I think, oh, but wait, you could do this, or wait, you could do that. So it was really, I had a really lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. So it could be a good hour video. And if you'll notice, we've changed the time, and that's thanks to feedback. And I really appreciate your comments and your feedback because it helps me do what you want to see, number one. Hi, Nicole. Thanks for joining us. And it helps me make sure that the timing is right. And Mary Lou made a good point that we ended a little bit late, starting at 3:30, and kind of interferes with supper. So we decided to move it to 2:30. So anyways, without further ado, let's get started so we can have some fun today. Let me just get rid of this. All right. So I wanted to do, each week we try to do something a little bit different. So today is going to be punch art. And if you like what you see today, just watch for my events, posting on Friday usually, to let you know what's going to happen on the weekend. And if you share that event, we'll get more people to join us, which is great. And then once this is over, my video, Facebook Live video, will go onto YouTube, so you can watch it either on Facebook afterwards again, or anytime you want on YouTube. And when you go to my YouTube channel, which is Arting's Creations as well, please subscribe and like so that we can get moved up on that as well. Okay, so the first card we're going to do today is an Easter card. And this is my favorite little bunny. I've done a few different ones, but this one I like the best. I made this into a baby card, actually, because I thought it suited it very well with the colors. We're not, of course, you know me, this is the one I posted, so we're not going to do this same color today, but we are going to do basically the same card. So let me just set it up here so we can keep it sort of in view there. And what I'm using today is a package of the Abstract Beauty DSP, which comes in the new size. So this one is 4x6. And I found this size to be really handy because I wasn't wasting quite as much as you do on a 6x6, because quite often when you use it as a full background, then you lose a little bit of that paper, and it's not always useful. So this I found to be a really nice size. Some really, really good colors and pieces in here that lend themselves well to being be their baby paper. I like that one, but very beautiful colors. Double-sided, of course, so a pattern on both sides. So a little, as always, hard to decide which one you want to use. I'm going through here quickly, but I just want to give you an idea of the different colors that are used in here. Anyways, that's called Abstract Beauty 4x6, and I think that's in the mini catalog, actually. Okay, so the one I chose to use today is, and I have started some of this card just for timing's sake because we have a lot to get through today. So I chose this background today, and I've already made the base card. Just a normal 4 4¼ by 5½. So for the newbies, this is 8½, scored at 4¼ and 5.5 tall. And then my back layer piece is 4 by 5.25, and this one's 3 3/4 by 5. So I've already assembled those, and then just a little strip on the bottom. And this sentiment is out of Happy and Heartfelt stamp set, which has a lot of really interesting little ones, and I just thought this one, we have to celebrate this. It would be great for a baby card, so that's what we're using today. So without further ado, let's set this aside and we'll make our bunny. Okay, so I just have scraps basically, because that's what we need to start. So the punches I'm going to be using are my 2.25 inch round circle. And this is variable. You can use a die if you don't have a punch. You could use a little bit smaller size if you want. I do have another punch that's similar in size to this that's scalloped. If you don't have a plain round circle, you can definitely use the scallop as well. Then we're going to be using both sizes of the layered oval punch, a small 1/2 inch circle punch, and my little heart punch. And you're going to see what we do with the little heart punch. Okay, so to start my bunny, I need a 2.5 inch circle. Get in there. And I need 4 of the background. So this is for his ears and his feet. Got little pieces flying everywhere here. So that's for his ears and his feet. And then the inserts for that are going to be in white. So we need 4 white as well. We're going to end up with a few other scraps here that we'll get rid of. I could have cut this so I wasn't wasting those top pieces, but these are just out of my scrap bin anyway, so I really wasn't that worried about it. Or you could put a good size piece in there and then have your other white scallop pieces there available to use at another time. Okay, so now that's that one. And now we need a little piece of the green for his heart-shaped nose. So we just need a little corner of this one. And basically, that's what we're going... Oh, no, we need some black here, sorry. We need 2 little pieces, 2 little circles of black, which are for his back, the back part of his foot. Now, I have made these where I've actually used my little punch to punch out the small little foot pads in the front. But I thought this time we would just use a black marker and make those. I was kind of using, as I'm teaching a class to some newbies in our park coming up very shortly in March, and they haven't done much stamping at all, so I didn't want them to have to be trying to fiddle with that too much. So now we're just going to attach these first of all. You can use whatever you like. You can use glue, you can use I just like to use my runner tape because it's fast and it's good and solid and holds them pretty solid and basically in the middle. And don't be perfect. If it's off a little bit, it's not a big deal. This is art, not perfection. That's what I always say. Anyways, now my dog is in here quietly looking out the window right now, but he does not believe that anybody should be walking down our road. So if he barks, I apologize, because he likes to warn them that they shouldn't be out in front of our house. Okay, so there's our feet and there's our ears. So we'll work with the feet first. So let's apply the 2 little black pads, and I'm going to do that with a glue dot. And the easiest way to do that is just to put, I think I've been using these, so I've gone back here a long ways and I haven't ripped it off lately, so is to apply the dot directly to to apply the piece directly to the glue dot and then pick it off. It's just easier that way. So we're going to place this towards the back, kind of in the center. Okay, so then I just want to draw his little toe pads on here. So we're just going to put one in the center. Am I in the center here? Yes. In the center of the top, and just a little circle. That's all you need. And then you're going to move one to each side. And if they're not perfect circles, that doesn't matter either. As I say, you could use your little small punch and punch out a little black circle to put on there as well. Okay, so there's his ears. There's his feet. Now let's do his face. So before I do his face, I'm going to put his nose on in the center, just so I have an idea of, oh, and I did his nose in the wrong color. He needs a white nose, not a green nose. Well, let's do that again. Guess I wasn't thinking. So we'll just do another one. There we go. That makes more sense. So you can put his nose upside down. I didn't put his nose upside down on that one, but I think I am going to put his nose upside down on this one. Let's just see what it looks like. So we'll put that on with a glue dot as well. Look at that. Yeah. So let's put, so in the middle, we'll put the nose. Okay, so now we're going to draw. Now you don't see much of his mouth on this one. So this one, I'm going to put his feet down a little bit farther so you get to see a bit more of his nose. So make sure we get his nose straight there. Again, in this particular case, you could put dots, but I'm just going to make circles for the eyes, and I keep them fairly close. This way I can decide how big I want them. And I kind of think that looks okay. Don't have to be perfectly round because they're not perfectly round anyways. And let's just put a little bit of light in that eye. So I have a white, you can use a white gel pen or just a white pen and just put a little bit. I think my gel pen's going to be better. Let's try the gel pen. Sorry, I'm bouncing the camera there. Okay, just a little dot to give it a little bit more life. There we go. All right, so now we want to draw his nose. So we're just going to, or his mouth. You don't need a mouth really, and you can't even see underneath there, but we're just going to do a little, his nose would come down like this and then just kind of go out like this. And then we're going to put some whiskers on. And again, you may not see a lot of this. You can also do his whiskers in twine if you want, in a little black twine or even white twine. Okay, so now we're going to put his ears on. And the easiest way to put the ears on is just keep idea where you're at here and run just a piece of, hang on. Just put another piece there. Okay, so we want his ears to be kind of standing up like this. Twist them a little bit more there. And this one, kind of I overlap them just a tiny bit there. And now his feet, let's get his feet away a bit so that we can, or down a little bit so that we can at least see some of those whiskers. I could have maybe started his whiskers up a little bit higher, and then I would have seen a bit more of them, but whatever. We're just going to brace them out a little bit. Now these I want to pop up a bit so they stand forward. So we're going to use a dimensional on the bottom. Now pay attention because you want it this side, not over here. That's going to be off of your card, or off of his face there. So we'll just mount his feet just a little bit. So at least you can see his mouth, even if you don't see some of his whiskers. And there, I got that stuck on there too, but that's all right. It's going to go on the card anyways. So then this one, we're going to go this way, and we're going to put our one on the bottom and one over to the side. Again, we don't see a lot of his whiskers. Next time, I think I might even add some whiskers up there, since we can't see them down here. Yeah. It's a little hard to add the whiskers now, so maybe, let's try. Let's just try. Let's just do one here, because we can see a little bit of that one. Well, let's make that one a little longer. Okay. So now we want to pop him up on our card. So we give a bit more dimension. So let's go. I'm going to go a little heavy on the dimensionals here, just so I make sure that he's going to be nice and solid. He, she, we don't know whether it's a girl rabbit or a boy rabbit, but whatever. And these ones are going to pick up as well from the feet. I've also done this little bunny and used it on baskets and little treat boxes that I've made. And when I do that, I actually put a piece on the back of the head after I've mounted the ears, just so the back looks a little bit cleaner. But in this case, we're not going to see that because we have it on a card. So I didn't bother with that. And it also gives it a bit more stability when it stands up on the box as well. But this being mounted on the card won't make any difference. I just think he's so, so cute. So stinking cute, as I say. Okay. And then I came across, I believe these were in a paper pumpkin at one time. Paper pumpkin kit. Maybe, Pam, you can tell me until... What, you mean this looked like the eyes, Mary Lou? Is that what you meant? You could use dots like that for the eyes as well. Hi, Jen. Nice to see you. Hi, Velma. Glad you made it. All right, so as I said, these were from a paper pumpkin, and I just thought I really liked the colors went really well with this one. So these are not something that you can order, unfortunately. Now, when you're doing cards, for those who haven't done a lot of card making, with embellishments, we have the rule of 3, which is you normally put 3 embellishments on. Odd numbers, basically. It doesn't have to be 3, but it should always be odd numbers. So that's what we're doing today, is an odd number embellishment. And that's our little baby card. Now, that could be an Easter card. It could be a baby card. And Jen, if you're coming to our class at the up at the community center on March the 9th, you will be making one very similar to this. So that's our first card. I'm done with punches. I found little flowers that I just had tucked away somewhere, and that's what I put on this one as well. And this is from the same sentiment stamp set. So anyways, happy with him. I hope you like him. So let's put him. Oh, and I did an envelope. We don't like our naked envelope, so I just took a piece of the paper and mounted on the back flap of the envelope. So when you're sending that card, it's it just adds some interest to it. If you're going to mail this card, I might suggest that you might not want to pop this up. You might want to put it flat on the card, just because the post office, if it's the least bit thick, sometimes they give us a hassle and want us to spend more money to send them out, and we don't want to do that. So anyways, that's just a suggestion that you can have for that one. So we're going to leave this one out so I can put them all together at the end. And we'll put that aside. And we'll move on to our next one. And we do not need this one anymore, at least not for this card. And we don't need this punch at all, so we'll get rid of it. I'm going to keep those 2 little ones. I may need those. So our next one, we're going to be using this label punch for the sentiment and our kitty cat punch. So this is a fairly simple card again. I didn't make any of them very difficult today. They're all fairly simple. Give you a rest from last week, because last week was so complicated, everything that we did. Anyways, this is the one that we're doing today. And there was a little trick. There was some finagling to do to get this to work, believe me. So I'm hoping what I tried to do today works, because after I made this one, I thought, okay, well, maybe this will work if I try it. So anyways, I'm hoping that it did, and you'll see when we get to that part. So basically, I started with, this is a good way to use up your scraps of paper. Just get rid of, okay, So I started with a plain black base, card base. Where's my... And we're just going to burnish our fold here so it's nice and flat. Okay, and then a white layer. And we're going to work on our layer before we actually start our card. So I have done some of my pieces here. So you're basically, it's very simple. Just you want pieces that go together but aren't exactly the same. So the theme I did with this one was kind of a black and white theme. When you're cutting them, I think I made these, I think these are 1 inch by a little bit wider than your card. This is 4 inches wide, and don't try to measure exactly because no cutter is exactly the same and you'll end up with a couple pieces a little bit short. If it's long, it's easier to fix them afterwards than it is to make them longer. You can make them shorter, you can't make them longer. So you want to kind of just mount, you're going to mount them like this and keeping the same distance apart. I think I did one a little bit narrower. This one, this is my last one. Okay, I wanted my gold one in the middle, but other than that, it doesn't really make much difference. So we'll start, let's see, this is my narrow one. All right, so let's just mount these. Again, you can use glue. You can use a glue stick, whatever works for you. And I want to keep it sort of centered, but I want some white at the top as well. I'm just eyeballing how straight we are here. Overlap a little bit, so you're going to have them similar in width, and they don't have to be exactly the same in width. You just want them similar. And then we'll go with the black one here. Even that side would have been good too, but I like a little bit of black and gold in there. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. So again, I'm going to place that, just leaving about the same amount of space there. And then our next one. You don't get a lot of that gold in there, but you get some of it. And then our last one.
I need a mute.
A mute, yeah. No, I just need not to sneeze when I'm trying to do something. Oh, I got my glue a little too far there, so we'll just fold that back so it's out of the way. Hi, Barb. Thanks for stopping in. Okay, so I'll make that one nice and straight. And now we can just trim that off. So I'd rather it be a little longer than too short. It's just a lot easier. Get rid of those little pieces. Okay, so then you need a piece of black, a little bit bigger than your piece of white that you're going to cut your cat out of. And the issue was, when I was trying to cut my cat, I'm going to show you on 2 other different pieces of paper, if I can find a couple of scraps here. Just a minute here. Here's one, and we'll use this black one. Okay, so you punch your cat. If you put it all the way into the punch, you're going to have the same distance from here to here. Okay, that's cool. There's your cat. So now you want this piece of paper placed on a piece of paper that you've cut out of, in this case, black. I got some nice cats here I can use now. However, you can, and we may have to do this, bear with me, because I just decided to try this and see if it worked, but I don't think it will, because you need this to be smaller so that these mount together exactly like this. So you may have to cut this after the fact, but I got thinking and tried. Okay, so what I did was I put my 2 pieces together, and unfortunately, I don't think it's going to work this time either. I could not get it to punch through both pieces. If I can get it to punch through both pieces at the same time, we're going to be fine. But so what I did was I just put a hole in there to keep that so it was in the same spot. My thinking was this, that I could put this paper in, keep that hole about the same space in both things that I'm doing, and then that would mean that my paper would be okay. That's my thinking. So first of all, I'm going to see if I think it's going to punch it'll depend on the thickness of your paper, whether or not it will punch both at the same time. And it would be a lot easier if it does, but when I tried it before, it just wouldn't. And I didn't know if I wanted to take that chance, but we'll just give it a shot. Because you want it, again, you're trying to get this in the middle. So I don't think I'm going to play with it. I'm going to try it the way I initially thought was the right way to do it. So placed my paper in, and I used my sides as a guide, and I tried to keep that hole in exactly the same spot. This paper is a little bit shorter, don't forget, so it's kind of a little tricky to keeping it straight, but as long as you're not sticking out too far from one side or the other, I guess we'll find out if it's going to work. And we want to make sure that we're down as far as we can go on this one. So keep your little cat. He's handy for another time. So there's our one piece. Now let's see if this works. So again, there's my little hole. So this piece is a little bit wider, so it's a little easier to judge if I've got, and what I've tried to do is keep that hole in the same place. So we'll see how well we did. Cross your fingers. Not too bad. I don't have a lot. I may need to trim just a smidgen off the bottom of here, but the sides are not bad at all. So let me just get my little guillotine cutter here, and we'll just take just a smidge. I could try cutting with the scissors, but believe me, I can never cut straight with the scissors. So we're just going to trim that just a hair. And you wouldn't even have to layer that. You could probably just do that in black if you wanted to, but I just like the look of the layered. And there you go. Not bad at all. All right, so we're going to glue this onto there. Just basically in a couple of spots. Now you're just going to, where's my corner that's not glued? Right there. So I can match that up using the corner that's not glued. Before I glue it down, make a mess, stop. Hard to do this when I can't really stand right over top of it. I actually like that little, it's crooked. No, 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 we don't want crooked. Let's try this again, straighten that up. Look at this. Luckily, this tape is a bit removable. That's better. Again, I still have a little bit of an edge out here that I'm not real happy with. It's just a bit wider than the other one. So let's trim this off a little bit too. Not perfect, but it's close enough. Close enough to perfect. So we're going to mount him on here. And you want to make sure we get almost all of the designs in there if we can. You might not get them all, but so that's why I put him on a little bit angle. And we are going to stand him up just to give him a bit more dimension there. So put one of these dimensionals on each corner. Okay, so now we can mount him on our black card. Leaving a border all the way around. I learned a lesson a long time ago that whenever I'm mounting anything on my card base, I always open the card. Otherwise, I've had times where I've mounted it this way and the card doesn't open. So I just find if I open the card before I do it, I don't necessarily have that issue come up. Okay, so on this one, I'm not actually going to add my sentiment on this one, but I just did a small sentiment across the bottom, and I just put to the one I love, this could be a birthday card. You can stamp it right on here if you want, if that's easier. I didn't. I popped it up a little bit, and I just took another piece of the polka dot paper, used this same punch, and punched two of them, one in the polka dot paper and one in just the plain where I had stamped my sentiment. And then I cut the polka dot paper one in half and just edged each end. That actually would look really nice with a strip of black, I think, without putting that polka dot paper there. But I'm not going to do that today. Just wanted to show you how that part of it was done. So that's our cat card. Okay, so we're not going to need the cat anymore. And we're not going to need this one anymore. So our next one, we have to do a few more things to our next one. So I'm going to get our stuff in here. The stamp sets I have used on this one are special moments. I used the happy birthday out of it. And I also used tiny little butterfly out of Catching Butterflies. So, and the punches is the oval punch. Basically, that's the only punch that I use for this one. So what can an oval punch be? Well, it can be a bunny rabbit, as you've seen, or it can be a flower. So this one, we're going to make this little, I don't know what kind of flower it is, whether it's a daisy or it could be a daisy, it could be whatever you want, depending on what colors that you're using to make it. So, but anyways, that is the one that we're going to be using today. So I'm just going to move that back up there so you can see it. So we have our card base. And again, I need to burnish that. Make sure it's nice and flat. We have our layer. So before we put our layer on, we're going to do a tiny bit of stamping on this one. I made this originally, and I didn't have anything on here, and I didn't like how plain it looked. So I decided that it needed a little something. So we're actually, I think on this one, I'm actually going to use the bigger butterfly, the multi-butterfly one, in, because we're going to stamp off. So let me get a piece of paper here so I'm not messing up my good background. And we need our bumblebee. That's the color that I used. Sorry, no, we need black, not bumblebee. What am I talking about? We're going to do our butterflies in black. Actually, let me rethink that. Let's do more of a monochromatic background. Let's use the bumblebee and see how that looks. And then maybe I won't even have to stamp off. So again, tap your stamp. Let's just test it. Yes, I think I will stamp off. So stamping off, I hope I'm in the view here. Stamping off just means that you put your ink on your stamp pad, but then you stamp off and then stamp on your paper. I'm going to stamp on here so I don't get it all over. So it's what you're getting is very, very light. It's not the full strength. And I kind of like how that looks. Stamped off. Change it. Just change directions with it. Trying not to run into each other, but you're going to cover up a lot of this, but I am going to carry it all the way down. And you can actually stamp once and stamp again. You'll get even a lighter there, just to give that a little bit of interest, because it looked pretty plain. And that was bothering me that was so plain when I made the other one. All right. So that's all we need for that. We're going to do some more stamping later. So we can actually go ahead and mount this. Well, let's work with this before we do that. All right. So on here, across the bottom, we're just going to add a bit more interest. So I can mount my pattern piece. And you could use the same. You could use the same. You could use just the black if you wanted, but I just like the extra little design that was on that particular card. And again, I went all the way the same width. I just made it a little bit wider, so I had a little bit of black on the top and the bottom on that one. I wanted it to go the full length of this layer. Move it down a little bit here because our flower is quite big. And so what you see now is you've got a bit more interest in the background. So now we can mount this onto our card, leaving a border, about a quarter, I think I did a 1/4 inch border all the way around. Okay, so now we'll do our punching. So we need 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals, and you could use the bigger one, but I did try it with the bigger one, and I found the flower was way too big with the bigger one. So I've actually got, see, there's the bigger ones, and I just found that they were way too big. So I punched 2 of these to put behind my sentiment. So that's why I have those, but we're going to do I'm going to get some big ones out of this, but we'll save them for something else. So we need 1, 2, I'm going to cut this because I don't want to waste this paper. So let's do it like this. 3. No. Made the paper a little small, so now I've got to fool with it a little bit. 4. So pretty on the other side too. And we need 1 more. Get out of there. And you ever have those days when you feel very scattered? I'm having one of those days today. I just feel extremely scattered and not organized. Okay, so let's get rid of these. We have those 2 there, which we need. Get rid of those. Okay, so there's our petals for our flower. And now I need a black plain one. And if you're wondering why I'm punching upside down, this is the way you use the punches. If you were to do it this way, you wouldn't really be able to see where you're punching. So by turning your punch upside down, you can see where you're punching. And also what it allows you is to just give a tiny bit of pressure on there. And it doesn't matter when you're punching something like this, but if you're punching something that you've stamped and you're trying to get it in the right spot, you're able to place your paper and just apply just enough pressure that it catches the paper, but doesn't actually punch it out until you're ready to actually punch it out. Okay, so with this one, I didn't want the center this is the center of the flower, and I didn't want it to be quite as big as the actual petals. So what I did was I used one of my petals to place it on here, and then where's my scissors? Cut around it so that it was a little bit smaller than the actual petals itself. I found that center just looked a little bit big when I first made it, and I'm no good at freehanding an oval, so that's why I did it this way. So now that's just a little bit smaller, and it doesn't stand out quite as much. Okay, so now we have our white piece. Before we make our flower, we're going to get our white piece ready. And I didn't like let me bring this down, just the stark white piece. Again, don't like things to be really, really plain. So we're going to distress this a little bit. So we'll get our bumblebee back again. And our wonderful blending brushes, which I love. Again, we don't want it to be dark, so we're going to brush off on our paper. And then just in circular motions, just add a little bit of color to the outside edge of that background piece. You actually could do the whole thing. It wouldn't make any difference. We'll just give it a light yellow background. But you just don't want it to be really, really dark. And it's just as simple as that. Okay. That just makes it look, it's a huge difference from just that plain white, and it makes a huge difference on your card too. Just makes it blend a whole bunch better. Okay, so now we'll put our little flower together. So these 2 pieces are for the sentiment, so we're going to keep those aside. And now we're going to make our flower. So basically, I want to place my flower on here. Now you can do it one of two ways. You can actually attach it to the back. I found that that didn't work. I wanted to see how my flower is going to look on here. And I want this to overlap just a tiny little bit. And then I place them first before I actually glue them down. Kind of keep the top pieces in line. Not perfect, but, you know, sort of place them in the same sort of direction so that you've got like half. What you're looking for is kind of half of like a, if it was a sunflower, it's kind of like half of a sunflower. And that's the kind of effect that you want. So I did pop these up a little bit because I like the look that it gave with a bit of a dimension behind it. So I think we are going to do that, depending on what I did with my dimensions. I just had them. Oh well, we'll get a new one out. Probably here somewhere. Stuff gets piled up on my desk while I'm working and I can't find anything. I'm not a tidy crafter. I can just tell you that right now. I'm just not. So let's just go ahead and put two on all of these, and then we can replace them. Like I said, isn't the back of that pretty as well? That actually would make a really pretty flower too. That's one of the toughest things about our paper, is deciding which side you like better on a lot of the cards that you make. Stella, are you asking about the measurements of this piece? This piece was 2.5 by 1, 2, 3.5, basically. It could be whatever size you want, though, whatever looks good on your card, but 2.5 by 3.5 is what size I made that one. Hi, Michelle. Okay. So we are going to start this one just a tiny bit off, and I want to keep this part clear, although I won't be putting a butterfly like I did on that one, but I want to keep that a little bit clear. And then go to the next one. Overlap a little bit, but keep it kind of in your same height as the other one. Come on, get off there. And then the next one. And then this one. And our last one. Okay. Then our little black piece. Now, when I did this one, I wanted some, I don't know if you can see it on here now, but I have some little white dots. I didn't like the look of the little white dots after I did this, so I'm going to try my bronze gel pen on this. I just wanted to give it a little bit of detail, and I don't know if this will work either. Oh yeah, this is not bad. I think I like this better. So just a few little dots like you would see, you know, sunflowers have little, nothing's going to be totally plain in there, so I just want to add a bit more detail. And again, we're going to pop that up. Now, the one thing I didn't do that I should have done, but it's okay, I think I can make it work, is I actually ran my stem in before I put this one on when I did my other card, but I think. So I'm just using my light mossy meadow. Oh, wrong end. We want the end that looks like a, I'm just going to run a stem down here. I don't think I even want it any wider than that. That's basically all I did to it. Okay, I did not pop this up. I put this on flat because the flowers being popped up I felt was enough. So we're going to mount this right about here. So it's on your pattern paper a little bit. That's not straight. There we go. Okay. And now we need to do our happy birthday. And I did that in black. But because I stamped this in Bumblebee, I'm going to do my happy birthday in Bumblebee this time too. Just because I like the monochromatic kind of look it gives. And you'll see the difference when we do it that way. Just put some of this stuff away so I've got some room to work here. Okay. Let's just test it. Yeah. So you're tapping, not, you don't want to put your stamp on there and rock, or you're going to get the edges of your stamp. And even here, I've got some ink on my stamp that I do not want on my paper. So I'm going to keep it down to the bottom. Basically, I just free-handed this around. Oh, it's not straight. Okay, here's the wonderful joy. I don't like this, so flip it over. We have two sides, and look at that. I can just do it again. So let's just keep our hand a little straighter this time. Sorry if my head's in there, but that's a little better. Okay. So now I'm just gonna, again, I don't like the edges of that, so I'm gonna freehand this kind of in an oval, but not a real oval. I just want it to have kind of a soft look and not a straight cutout look. And the reason for that is because I put a couple of punched out pieces behind it, so I didn't want it to be too straight and not soft. Sometimes it's just nice to make it a little bit more abstract. But again, I don't want this to be solid. So we're just gonna take our sponge that we had before, just run it around the edges and the very, very edges this time. I don't really want to even, I can leave it dark because I don't really want to go in. I just want to get just the edges, just where it's cut so that that color gets picked up. A little on the edges. Okay, good enough. Let's put this away. Make sure I don't have any ink on my fingers. So this one, I just wanted to have some pattern behind my happy birthday. So I attached these two ovals that I did from the punch that we have. Just put a little bit of tape runner on this one and just attached it here, making sure it was long enough. And then mounted my happy birthday on the back of it with some dimensionals, of course. Picking it up a little bit. Thanks, Velma. Yeah, they were easy and a lot of fun. I'm really excited to show you the last one. It's my absolutely favorite. Okay. So we're just going to mount this on here. And then I put this on my card flat. And go over top this, you know, if you're putting it behind there, that's just fine. So there you see the difference between the two, and that this is a little bit more monochromatic looking, and you can still see the butterflies, but they are a little more subtle than the butterflies in this one. And these butterflies were an afterthought because I didn't like how plain that it looked when I did the first one. Now, embellishments, I probably wouldn't use black for embellishments on here because I didn't do this in black, though actually there is black here, so maybe we will use black. So these ones are just classic matte dots, and I think these came out around Halloween time, but I believe you can buy these ones anytime. And if you're interested in anything and you don't have a Stampin' Up wrap, I would be happy to order for you. Just give me a call, or you can go directly to Stampin' Up and order from my site. Again, we're doing the 3, just because we do odd numbers when we're doing embellishments. I don't think I want it right on there too. It's too stark. I think I'm going to put it over here. And there you go. There's a little bit of a embellishment on there, which just adds a little bit of a finishing touch. And I'm happy with that one too. Now you could actually go all the way around and make it a big flower that sits in the center of the card. I have seen it done, and it's really cute, especially if you're trying to use up scraps, with a smaller circle, a little bit bigger than the one we used for, this is the 1.5 inch that we, or sorry, the 1/2 inch that we used for the bunny. But if you had one that was maybe 3/4 or even an inch circle punch, you could, I've seen a circle, you cut a small circle like this, and then you go all the way around the outside with only half of that other small circles showing, and make a flower that way. And so that's another way that you can do it as well. But anyway, so that's that one. We'll get rid of our kitties here. Got lots of cats to use down the road. Okay, so now our last one. It's just so stinking cute, the last one. So basically, let me just grab it here. When is a tulip? So this is our tulip punch, and it punches out the top of the tulips. It actually goes with, these are my colors that I'm going to be using. It actually goes with our Timeless Tulip stamp set. So it punches out this tulip after you've stamped it, and it also punches this second part, which can be a leaf if you want it, but it also fits right on here, and it'll make it like more of a three-dimensional tulip. But when is a tulip stamp not a tulip stamp? When it's a jellyfish. And I just thought that this was so darn cute. So it's the tulip stamp upside down turned into a jellyfish, and that's what we're going to do today. So I've used Bermuda Bay, fresh freesia, and pale papaya. Those are the three colors that we're going to use today. So let me put them up here so you can still see them. All right. So a little bit more to him actually, because we're going to do some stamping. So we'll pull this out of here. Bear with me here. So this is our base. Again, I need to, this one I cut a normal 8.5 by 11 sheet in half and did it long way. So this is 4 1/4 inches this way and 11 inches scored at 5.5 to make your card this way. And the base that we're using is part of our Marvelous paper, which is really gorgeous because this looks very watery to me. So this is what our base is going to be, and we can actually go ahead and mount that on there, and then it'll be there. I thought this would make a great kid's birthday card. In fact, I think it might end up being my granddaughter's birthday card that's coming up. Okay, so we'll put this aside, and we're going to stamp some of these tulips. So we just need the big one for now. I also think that this would be a great ghost for Halloween. Just do it in the white and put the eyes on it, and you've got some cute little ghosts. All right, so it doesn't matter whether you stamp it right side up or upside down. That's not the point. We'll just change it around when we're ready. And as I said, I found it hard to stop because I kept seeing and thinking of ideas that I could use other punches for. I have a cloud punch, and I really want to do something with my cloud punch because I'm sure it could be things other than clouds. So there's one. Get our cleaner here. Okay, so now let's do, we're not going to need that again, so we might as well put it away so we don't get yucky. Bermuda Bay, one of my favorite colors. Along with the purples, of course. I'm very much a purple person. So then we need the fresh freesia. Just trying to put these away as I go along just to save on the... And then we need... Clean this off. And now we need our pale papaya. Okay. Clean this guy off. All right. So we might as well stamp our happy birthday while we're stamping. And I think I'm going to do him. I did this one a little bit darker, but I can't remember exactly what color I used. Because this background is a little bit darker. I think that's just jade, actually. So let's find our just jade somewhere here. Here it is. And we'll do this in the just jade. I'm sure that'll work. So we want our happy birthday here. Actually, I still have it on my pad. Sorry, I talk to myself while I'm working. It's just something that I do. All right, so let's do our happy birthday. This is the same happy birthday that we used on the other one. Oops, don't want ink on there. And now I want to flag one end of this. I want to keep one end flat. So if you'll notice, I kept this side flat. So I'm going to stamp it close to that end. Perfect. I can't believe Puppy's just sleeping. He's not paying attention to anybody. It's just, I wish I could show you him curled up in a ball sleeping. Okay. So we'll set that aside for now. We'll deal with that later. We'll get rid of our stamp pad. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so let's cut out our tulips. Sorry, our jellyfish. So this is where I'm going to, please bear with me because this punch is just giving me grief. It'll let me put the paper in, but it doesn't want me to take it out after. So I actually can't do that little bit where you get to punch down on it a little bit and then do it. You just have to punch. Okay, so that's that one. See, now it doesn't want to give me back this paper. And I don't want to ruin that, so I'm going to have to cut this off. And feed it in from the side here. Now I find that I can move it around with my finger if I need to. Line it up as best I can. It's just this punch that I have this issue with. Everything else is working perfectly, and wouldn't you know, this is one of my favorite punches. I just don't want a whole bunch of white on one side and not on the other. There we go. So there's that one. And then it doesn't want to give me the paper back out of there either afterwards. And then my last one. So when you're using your punches, if I know you don't like to waste a lot of paper, but if you have a bit of paper, a bit of an edge that you can hang on to, it just makes everything so much easier. Okay, so we'll get rid of our little pieces here. All right, so there's our 3. Okay, so I set my, oh, there it is. Didn't say I set my card aside. What did I do with it? Now, we're going to pop these guys up a little bit. But first I want to put their tentacles on. So I have 3 different, I just chose 3 different colors of twine, basically. And they're not a perfect match, but I didn't want them to be a perfect match. I wanted them to be something that kind of coordinated, but didn't necessarily match perfectly. So we need, I thought 5 pieces was about the right amount. And I just, if you make them a little long, you can cut them shorter afterwards, but you don't really need them to be too long. So 1, 2, I think jellyfish tentacles are mostly the same length, but not that I've ever really seen a jellyfish, but 4 and 5. Now, when you're doing this, one of the things I learned while I was making it, and again, I just ran a piece of my, you could use glue. This is probably a better idea, or double-sided tape in this particular instance because it, excuse me, it's going to dry before you get done glue. Now, it seems like a little thing, but just kind of watch which way these kind of curl, because you don't want them all curling in the same way. So you're just going to put that on the sticky tape. And you don't want them too close together. So see, this one's kind of curling the other way, which is great. And then this one, they can cross over each other too. That's not a big deal. And we'll know if they're too long. By the time we get them on the card, we can always cut them back if we need to. But I found that I tended to keep them up fairly high here because I could always trim these off. Get rid of them before I even put them on the card. Why is my scissors not working? All right. Just chew it off would have been faster. Okay. So let's just place him here. Oops, I did it wrong way around. There you go. Let's try that again. You want him on the end. He's got to be upside down. He's not a tulip. He's a ghost. Okay. There we go. That's better. Now, we got to make his eyes. Now, you could use little googly eyes if you wanted to. But I didn't have any little googly eyes. So, I just did 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And my little thing catches everything right there. So, they're all should be right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is the little tricky part, but I just made their little eyes. So with my marker, and I use the skinny end of my marker. My fingernail works really good, and I just did a circle in the middle. To make their eyes. Now this guy, I wanted to make him look sleepy, so I did half of the circle. Third of the circle with just a little eye dot below it to make it look like his eyelids were drooping a little bit. A sleepy jellyfish. And then this one again, I just did the circle. Again, you don't have to be perfect with this. It's just a circle. All right. So we'll put their eyes on first. Thanks, Velma. Okay, so glue dots, again, are the best thing to put these on. So again, we're going to put them on the glue dot. It's just the easiest way to make it work. And then one here. And one here. And then this guy is going to go here on this one. So this one. One here. And one there. We'll get his tentacles on. And then our peach guy is going to be the sleepy one today. Okay, there's their eyes. So now we're done with this one. So now we need the blue. Looks like I got to do something with those scissors. Get my big clunky ones out here. They work so much better. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so this is the blue guy. So again, right side up. You want him upside down. So his tentacles have to be on the bottom. Or the top of the flower, basically. But our purposes. Now these ones are a little straighter, so you can kind of muck with them and fray them, or just give them some bit more direction if you need to. The other stuff was a little curlier, but again, you're just going to mount it on there. This has got a bit of a sparkle in it, so it just adds another dimension to it, which I thought was kind of nice. Can't see it probably very well, but... And then let's just shorten this one up a little bit. We'll put it way up there. Okay, so then we'll cut off the excess. You really don't have to. You're not going to see it behind there anyways, but... And we'll decide where he's going to go. And we'll put these on after we get all of their tentacles on. And then the peach ones, I just did. This is a kind of a little orangey bronze, but I thought it went with it well enough. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So that one's kind of going that way. Once you get them on and place them on your card, then you can decide whether or not you think the tentacles are too long. These are all kind of going the same way, and I don't want that. So we'll watch how we do this one so it turns the other way. There we go. And then this is a little short one. We'll put him on the end. Okay. So I'll bring my card in here and lay them down here. And I think they might be a little too long, so we're just going to cut some of them off. Make it a little less length on there. Okay. And even this one's a little too long. Rather have them too long and have to cut them off than have them too short and wish you'd made them longer. I think it's important that you spread this one out a little bit more. Okay. So let's put him here. So again, we'll pop them up. And I put one right over top just to help hold those on there as well. Got to remember to keep staying in camera here, or you won't be able to see what I'm doing. I don't want him spread out a bit more. Let's just fix that. You can fix anything, you know. So put some more glue over here, and I'm just going to move that one over a little bit because I just didn't like how they were all together there. Doesn't look like I've got 5 on there when I really do. So you can just play with them till you get them where you like them. All right, so we'll put him up here in the corner. And I think we'll put our blue one over here. And again, we'll put one on top. Just make sure that when you put this one on top, you're not getting just the twine, or else it may not stick. You want to make sure you get some of it on the actual back of the card. Let's move him way up in the corner here. And then we'll put our little orange guy here, down a little farther. I think they're so cute. Let's put him on an angle a little bit. Okay. So now we've got our happy birthday, and I made the happy birthday a good size. I don't mind if the tentacles go over top. That's okay too. But I want to flag the end of it, so I'm going to flag the end of this one. And then I'm just going to actually put this on here and flag it after I get it on. I just find that a little bit easier because I want it to be a little bit longer than the... So I matched it right up at the end and just made my colors on top and bottom, not on the other edge, because I'm going to make it flat on this side too. So then I just found this a little bit easier to flag this one, but have the green still showing as well. Okay. And I did not pop that up. I wanted that one part to be flat. So just make sure you don't get your tentacles stuck in there. Mount that. There's a little piece of tape on there that I don't want. Okay, I guess we'll put a dimensional over there. And then just let their little tentacles fall down on top of there. Now for our embellishments, we have these great little elegant faceted gems, and to me they just looked very watery, so that's why I chose to use those. And I used the clear ones because it did look quite like water. So because I don't got that little piece of glue there, I'm going to put one right there where the glue is. And then we'll put two, whoops, I don't want that on there, up here. Because you can actually see the colors through these, which I thought was really, really neat. I might even put a couple extra on. Just remember, we're doing odd, so you can put two more on if you want, which is an odd number. And let's stick another one in right here. There, so it looks like water droplets. And that's it. So that's our cards for today. I didn't do the insides of them, and I didn't do envelopes for them either. I just wanted to basically do the punch art part of it. So here's the ones we made. Here's all the ones we made today. Our flower, our kitty cat, and our bunny rabbit. And that's the 4. I'm really happy with how they turned out. I hope you enjoyed it. As I say, this video will be up on YouTube probably tonight sometime, so you'll be able to watch it whenever you want. If you wanted to work along and make some along with me, then you'll have time to do that, because on the YouTube you can stop at any time you want, which is really great. So thanks for joining me again. I had lots of people here today, which is wonderful. When I send out the invite for next week's, if you could share that invite when you see it, that would be awesome. And then we'll get some more people in next time. Thanks for coming. Hope you had fun. I think maybe I have some ideas what I might do next week. But if you have any ideas of what you'd like to see, please let me know, and I'll try to include that in something. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and thanks for joining me. Bye for now.